Hello viewers, welcome to this lecture on hydrobiology. I'm Dr. Gijo Harry, and in today's lecture we're going to look at the classification of water bodies. Water bodies have been classified into various types using various criteria. We're going to look at three of such criteria. We're going to classify water bodies based on the salt content or the salinity of the water body. We're going to also classify the water bodies based on the flow of the water, whether it's flowing or stagnant. Then we'll classify water bodies based on size or structure. Now, classification of water bodies based on salinity. Water bodies are classified based on salinity into the freshwater bodies, the brackish water bodies, the marine water bodies, and the brine. Now, the freshwater bodies. Now, freshwater bodies are characterized by the absence of salt or the absence of very low concentration of salt, usually from 0 to 0.5 parts per thousand. And such freshwater bodies are characterized by their unique ecosystem consisting of organisms that are adapted to such environments. Usually in the freshwater environment, you see the water hyacinths, the water lettuce, and other organisms, aquatic macrophytes that are adapted to such environment. And even in the fringes, you have freshwater plants, and freshwater animals are also adapted to such environment. Okay, you have freshwater fish and some other organisms, they're adapted to such environment. So the key characteristic is the salinity range from 0 to 0.05 parts per thousand. The next type of water body based on salinity is the brackish water body. The brackish water body basically is known to have salinity range from 0.5 to 30 parts per thousand. And basically it's found in areas such as the estuaries where the salt water is quite not as concentrated as the marine environment. So it's said to be brackish water environment. So basically the estuaries, then areas that are close to the mangrove swamps are basically known to contain brackish water, and basically they have organisms such as the mangroves and some other organisms, intertidal benthic organisms such as the periwinkles, the crabs, the shrimps that are adapted, and various species of fresh brackish water fishes, even the ones from the ocean that survive in such environment. Then we also have the marine environment. The marine environment is basically an environment that has high salt content. Usually the salinity is from 30 to 50 parts per thousand, and the organisms that are adapted to such environment are marine organisms usually. Okay, so you have organisms like the smooth stream crab, then you have other marine organisms like the whales, the dolphins, and many others. Okay, and you also have the submerged seagrasses, and the examples of such marine environments includes the sea, the oceans, the fjords, the straits, the lagoons. Those are typical examples of marine environment having salinity from 30 to 50 parts per thousand. The next type of fresh water body based on salinity is called the brine, which is said to be hyperhaline or hypersaline, having extremely high salinity level, basically having salinity from 50 and above, 50 to 80 parts per thousand and more. And such water bodies tend to have organisms that are able to tolerate the high salt content. The next criteria for classification of organisms is based on their size and structure. Based on size or structure, water bodies have been classified into oceans, which are large bodies of water, and usually characterized by high depth and high salinity. We have the seas that are also very large but semi-enclosed and shallower than the oceans, and also have high salt content. Then we also have the estuaries, basically, that are close to the oceans. We also have the rivers, which are flowing water bodies that are known to usually have low salt content. We have the lakes, that are bodies of waters that are enclosed by land, usually large bodies of water, then and usually made up of low salt content. Though few lakes have high salt content, but most lakes are freshwater bodies. Then we also have ponds, which are relatively small water bodies, and pools, as well as streams and others. So based on size and structures, the water bodies are classified into these types. Then water bodies are also classified based on flow. Based on flow rate, water bodies are classified into lentic or stagnant water bodies. Lentic or stagnant water bodies. The lentic water bodies include the ponds, the pools, the lakes, and other reservoirs, usually enclosed by land, not flowing. They are stagnant. They are said to be stagnant water bodies. Then the next type of water bodies are the lotic water bodies. They are flowing water bodies, and these include rivers, streams, the estuaries, the oceans, and the seas, where the water is constantly flowing either in both directions or in a single direction, like in the case of rivers and streams. So basically, that's classification based on flow rate. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I am Dr. Gijo Harry. Please keep watching more of my videos from my YouTube and TikTok channels. Thank you.